Hello friends, welcome to the 17th session of Hybris tutorial. In this session we will learn what is Hybris business process, what is the use of business process in Hybris. We will also learn what is the benefit of business process over the cron job. So after learning these concepts, we will review an existing business process, which is the order fulfillment process in Hybris. We will review all the components created in the order fulfillment process. And in the end of the video, I will be creating a new business process from the very scratch. In that, I will be covering all the elements required to create a new business process, all the configurations required to create a new business process. Like we will learn what is Hybris business process retry mechanism, wait mechanism, business process engine, business process model, and how to start and repair a business process. This video is going to be a bit lengthy because we will be covering almost all the topics related to the business process. So before starting anything, let me firstly show you how the business process looks like. So if I go to back office and over here if I just search business process, you will see we do have this option. If I click over the business process option, you will see these all are the business process created in Hybris. Over here we do have a definition like this business process is corresponding to the order process. This business process is corresponding to sending the email related to the delivery, and we do have a consignment related business process. So it means we can have a business process related to different purpose. Like we can have a business process for sending an email to customer for confirming like order has been placed. So this is the order confirmation email process. Similarly we do have order process. Similarly we do have a business process for the consignment, right? So it means we can have a business process for multiple purpose. If I open one business process and show you what is inside this business process, so you can see we have this business process, and over here you can see this process is related to order process model, right? And this is the code of this process, order process. This is the definition, order process, and this is the current state, like it is running or waiting for some event. So this is the process state, right? And these all are the actions means these all are the steps which will be executed in this business process. So you will be understanding these concepts, these actions, what is these actions mean for in the subsequent part of this video. But for now I think you should have a blur idea what a business process looks like. So this is a business process. If I go to admin tab, you will see we do have multiple options in the admin tab as well. You can see over here we do have a type. So this business process is of type order process, right? So this is how a business process looks like. We do have multiple other options as well here in this business process. So now I will tell you what is the use of this business process, how this business process actually works. So if I like place an order, if I place an order, right, after the placement of an order, we need to perform some steps, like we need to export that order to warehouse, right? Because once an order is placed, our ultimate goal is to ship that order or to deliver that order to the customer address. So how this is basically done in most of the e-commerce setups, so it is like order is placed in Hybris, right? And then this order is exported to warehouse. So warehouse can be a third party or can be an integrated system in the same brand. So basically what we have to do, we have to export the order to a third party or to warehouse system. So order is exported to warehouse, right? So once the order reaches to the warehouse, so warehouse will confirm, like we have now received your order, warehouse will confirm back to the Hybris system that order has been received at warehouse. So to confirm that, warehouse send back multiple status to the Hybris. So like warehouse send us first status as a C status, it means confirmed status, it means warehouse has received that order. So these type of status are sent back to Hybris by a warehouse. When an order is pick packed, then warehouse sends one status pick pack, and when an order is shipped, then warehouse again sends a status shipped, right? So these all status are consumed in Hybris, and you would have noticed in any of the e-commerce brand, right? We can track the order, we can check our order live on the website. What is the current status? Is that pick packed or is that shipped? What is the status of my current order, where it is currently at, which warehouse it is currently present. So all those status we are able to see because of multiple status sent by the warehouse back to the Hybris system. And when warehouse send those status to Hybris, Hybris consume those status, and that is why those status are reflected over the website. Right, so it means we need to perform multiple status. So like once the ship status is received, Hybris basically capture that order. Capturing means when an order is placed at that time, we just do authorization. Authorization means we just block the money from the customer bank account. It means the customer will not be able to use that amount. Like if order cost is 40 rupees, so what basically is done in the beginning, we firstly block that amount, or Hybris firstly request the payment service provider or to the bank like to block this amount, like 40 rupees amount, right? So basically bank blocks that amount, and customer also sees that that amount has been deducted, but in actual that amount is not credited from the customer bank account to the client bank account or to the brand bank account. It is only authorized in the beginning. Once the S status is received or shipped status is received from the warehouse to Hybris, at that time we make a capture request to the payment provider or to the bank. At that time in actual the payment is, or the amount is credited to the brand account, like the Amazon account. If you have ordered the order from the Amazon website, it means in the beginning bank only does the authorization, only blocks the amount at its end. It doesn't transfer the money to the Amazon account. It only transfers the money to Amazon account only when the order capture request is sent. So I hope now you understand basically what all are the steps behind order placement. So you can see these all are the steps. It means we have to export the order, right? Once the order is exported, we receive multiple status back to Hybris system from the warehouse. Then we capture the order, and even if the customer place a refund, then a refund step is also there, right? So to perform all these steps, there are two ways. Either you can perform these steps by a cron job, right? Or you can perform these steps through a business process, right? So it is not always feasible to perform all these steps through a cron job, but all these steps can be performed through a business process, right? So basically this is the difference between a cron job and a business process. Like these all steps, right? To perform all these steps through a cron job will be a very big task, very complex task, right? And it may not be feasible at all, right? But through a business process, these all steps can be performed. How these steps can be performed, I will be telling you in the subsequent part of this video. But for now, I think you should have understood what is the difference between a cron job and business process, and what is the benefit of using a business process over a cron job. Because writing all these mechanism, all these logic inside a single cron job is very difficult task, or it may not be a feasible task, right? I have already given a session over the cron job, what is cron job and how to create a cron job. If you have not read that session, you should check the video link in the description box as well as on the top right corner in this video, right? But now I will tell you how these steps can be performed through a business process. How these can be performed in the business process, we define multiple nodes to perform each steps, right? So node can be an action or it can be some wait event, anything. Right. So it means we will be defining multiple nodes inside a business process which will be performing these steps. Right. So I will be defining like a first node, node 1, which will be basically what doing? It will be basically, exporting the order to warehouse. So node 1 will be exporting order to warehouse, right? So when the order is exported, so there will be a node 2 which will be basically waiting for a status to come back from the warehouse, waiting for a status to received from warehouse. Then we have a node 3 which will be basically consuming the status, right? And then we have a node 4 which will be basically capturing the order, right? So it means how business process or how this business process achieve all these steps. It basically divide all these tasks into multiple parts, multiple fragments, and through those multiple parts or fragments it defines multiple nodes to process or to perform each task, right? So through these nodes it performs all these required activities or required tasks. So I hope now you understand how these business process works and how these business process are beneficial over a cron job. Because through a business process we divide a task into multiple steps or multiple parts, and to do each part or to do each steps we define multiple nodes. Like exporting an order is done by some node which is node 1. Then for other tasks we do have another node, right? So this is why business process is beneficial over a cron job, because in the cron job you have to write a complex logic. You don't have a provision to divide the code into multiple segments in a cron job, right? So this is the difference between a cron job and business process. So now how this business process actually works. So the core logic of working this business process is based on a XML file. So how this XML file looks like, I will show you. I will give you the example of order process only. As I told, after the overviewing of order process, then I will show you how to create a new business process from the very scratch. So if you are aligned to some project, you should watch this video till end, because you will be able to create a new business process as well if you watch this video completely. Before starting this video or before showing you everything, I will suggest you should have a B2C accelerator setup in your system. You should be parallelly doing all these steps in your local system, which I am going to show you in this video, because with these only you will be able to get the maximum benefit of this video, right? So if you have not done the B2C accelerator setup, you can watch my video. The link of the video is given in the description box as well as on the top right corner in this video. So if I go to my code and if I show you, we do have this file order process.xml. this is present in the training fulfillment process. If you remember, during our B2C accelerator setup, we had generated this training fulfillment process extension through ant module gen command, and this process or this file automatically got generated. So this is not a custom file or written by me, this was auto generated file, right? So if I show you this order process dot xml file which is present in training fulfillment process extension, you can see over here we do have multiple things. We do have actions, then we do have some wait statements, right? So whatever all these things I have shown you, like after the order placement we perform all these steps. So all these steps are basically defined over here, right? So all these elements like the action element or this wait element, these all are called as nodes, right? Like over here I told you these all steps are performed through nodes. For each step we define a node. So these are the nodes, like action, this is a node, this is one node, and this is one node, and similar this is also one node, right? So node can be a action, node can be a wait, node can be some other like timeout. We do have multiple nodes which I will be showing you in the subsequent part of this video, but for now you can understand these all are the nodes and through which the whole order process activity is achieved, right? So you can see this is action. What this action does, this is basically the ID of this action, check order, and this is the basically the bean of this action. Bean means whatever the logic written inside this action, it will be written inside this check order action only, right? This is a bean. If I can show you, you can see I'm just pressing Control Shift R, and over here you can see we do have check order action.java, right? So this class or this bean this bean has some logic written inside it, right? So we will be explaining you all these logics, but I just wanted to show you what all are the components present inside a node. Like this is one node, action is a node, and over here we do have a ID, and then we define a bean, and inside a bean whatever the logic or whatever the task which needs to be performed, that logic is written inside this action or inside this bean, right? So this is a transition element. So everything in the business process is achieved through the transitions, right? If I show you this action again, check order action, it is returning as an object of type transition. This is also out of box class, right? So transition can be okay or not okay. Okay means like this is a check order action. This basically once the order is placed, right? So this basically does some sanity checks, right? Like the order total is okay, or there are some other checks like we do have some order total which is greater than 0, right? There are enough parameters like we do have address field or not where this order to be delivered, all these sanity checks, right? If those all sanity checks are up to mark, then it returns the status okay. If I mean it doesn't fulfill the logic criteria, then it returns the status not okay, and it is of type transition, right? So this will be basically a enum class, right? So based on this it either returns okay or not okay status, and based on this transition object we do have a I mean over here we do have a structuring. If it returns the status okay, it is asking me to perform the next step or to go to the next action, and the next action is check authorize payment. You can see this is the next action, right? So it is basically this transition element is basically telling me if this check order action returns the status okay, then where I need to go, on which node I need to go. Like over here it is saying if the status is okay, I need to go on the node check authorization, authorize order payment, and you can see this node is defined over here. So this is a node of type action, right? So now I am in the check authorization payment, and this is the bean. It means whatever the step or whatever the task which needs to be performed in this node, it the those logic is defined in this action or in this bean class, right? In the similar way, if the status is not okay, then I need to go to the error, and you can see in the end we do have a error. It is basically we will be writing this message. I will show you what this means, but basically this is the order process XML file. Over here we define multiple nodes, and through these nodes we achieve a full task like order process task, right? So through this we achieve all our desired steps or all our desired activities, right? If I show you one more thing, like this check transition status review, if I can show you, this is called from here when the reserve amount node is run. If it returns the status okay, right? How it returns the status okay, that is written inside this bean reserve amount action dot java. If this returns the transition object as okay, then I go to the check transaction review status, right? So inside this, if this action returns the status okay, we will go to the next section, which is basically this one, fraud check. And if it returns the weight, if I go inside this, you will see it will be returning okay, not okay, or wait, right? So it is basically returning these type of things. It can return okay, or it can return not okay, or it can return the transition object as a wait, depending on the different conditions. So you can write your own custom logic, but for now, I mean, this is one thing. So if it returns the wait statement or wait object, then we will be going to the wait for review decision, right? So then this node gets performed. This is a node of type wait, right? What it does is it is basically I mean waiting for this event to be triggered, right? So basically this event will be triggered inside our code only, don't worry about this. But the basic thing I want to tell you that this element is basically for this event. Once this event is received, it will go to the next action, right? So this is the basic structure of process.xml file. Basically over here we define multiple node can be an action or it can be a wait. We do have other type of nodes as well, which I will be discussing later on. But through these nodes activity or a task is performed, right? So one more thing, these beans are defined into a spring.xml file. If I can show you, this is the check order action file, right? And over here we do have a order process spring.xml file, right? This is order process.xml file, always corresponding to a process.xml file. We do have a process spring.xml file, right? So if I search inside this, you will see we will have this check order action being defined. Over here you can see this is the bean id check order action. This is the same bean id, the same value which is defined over here. So it means this action is basically referencing to this bean and check order action, and this bean is the defined over here, the same name check order action, right? And what is the corresponding class to this bean? This is the corresponding class check order action. That is why I was showing you this check order action.java class, because this class is basically mapped to the map to this bean over here, right? If you want to inject some properties inside this bean check order action.java, you can define those properties over here. Check order service, I think you are aware of this. What do you mean by injection, bean injection? And always remember, this check order action or any action class always extend the abstract action. This is basically a out of box action class. All actions basically extend the abstract action class. This is an out of box class. If I can show you this check order action, you can see over here we have injected this check order service property, which we injected over here, check order service, right? So this is the structure. This is how we define the nodes, and inside the node we define a bean, and how this bean is mapped. This bean is mapped to corresponding process spring.xml. So basically these are the two important files, process.xml file and the process spring.xml file. Whatever the beans we are defining over here, those beans will be described basically in process spring.xml file, right? So now the question will be, so when the order is placed, right? So how this, in the first case, how this XML file will be called at all, right? So this XML file should be called at some point in our order placement flow, right? So I will be showing you firstly how this all thing happens, how we call the call this XML, and inside this XML how these actions start running automatically, right? So firstly what I will do, I will be placing an order, then I will show you how this XML or the how this process.xml file is called on. So if you see, when this order process.xml file is defined, this is the first element, and over here there is a start element. Start is equal to check order. It means whenever this process.xml file will be called, it is mentioning that the first action or the first node which should run is the check order action or check order node, right? That is why always when this process.xml file will be called from somewhere, the first action which will be running is the check order, because it is mentioned over here, right? And this is the name of this process.xml process. So this complete process is defined with this name, order process, right? And this process class, like the order process model, this will be basically telling like what type of object you are going to create. Like I showed you in our example, this is an order fulfillment process, right? So you can see this is returning as order process model. Why it is written like this? Because here, over here, we have defined the process class is order process model. Right, so I hope now it is clear to you. There is one more thing which you should know. This order process.xml file is basically firstly mapped into this whole path where is give this whole path order process.xml file. This whole path of this file is mapped to some XML file, which I will show you where this order process.xml mapping is there. So if I just search order process.xml inside the XML, you will see in this class training fulfillment process spring.xml. Inside this we define all the process.xml file, whatever the process.xml files we do have inside this training fulfillment process extension. All these process.xml file mapping is written over here. Like this is one order process.xml, this mapping is like this. Similarly, we do have other process.xml files. All these file mapping is done over here, right? So basically, I mean, what all configurations are done. So firstly, we do have a process.xml file, right? We do have a process.xml file. Like in our case, we do have this order process.xml file, right? Inside this order process.xml file, what we do, we define multiple nodes, right? So inside this we define multiple nodes, right? And then we do have a process spring.xml file, right? Process spring.xml file. Like in our case, the process spring.xml file is this. You can see order process spring.xml file, and inside this file we define all the beans, I mean all the beans of which we referred inside order process.xml file. Like we give the reference of this bean, check order action, and this bean is defined in my process spring.xml file. You can see this bean is defined over here, check order action. So it means inside process spring.xml file we define the beans which are referred beans or actions. I can write, I think you understand this, actions, action beans which are referred inside process.xml, inside these process.xml file, right? So this is the second thing we do. And third thing is this process.xml file mapping is given inside inside this file which we just saw. This is given inside the training core file, this one, right? In the training fulfillment process spring.xml file, right? Inside this we give all the mappings of all process.xml file, right? Like this is our order process.xml file. Over here we have given the mapping, right? We have told like property name is resource, so it is telling me firstly I need to go to the resource folder, and inside the resource folder I need to go in training fulfillment process, and inside training fulfillment process I need to go inside process. Over here the file will be present, and if I go to over here you can see here the path is firstly resources, and then inside the resources I need to go in training fulfillment process, then I need to go in process, and inside the process folder we do have order process.xml file, right? So this is the complete path we have given, and both these files are present in the same extension, training fulfillment process extension, right? So third thing is inside the fulfillment process spring.xml I give the mapping of process.xml5, right? So this is the third, inside fulfillment process spring.xml file we give mapping of complete path of process.xml file, right? So there is one more configuration which we need to do. This is right, so I showed you this is order process.xml file. Inside it we define multiple action beans, and these action beans are defined in order process spring.xml file. So for each process, like this is order process, right? For each process we do have a corresponding process spring.xml file, But if I have another process like consignment process.xml file, for corresponding to that consignment process.xml file, we do have a consignment process spring.xml file. So the mapping of this process spring.xml file is also given in the same file. I can show you. You will see over here we import these files. You can see this is the import I have given, right? Then what I have to do, inside the same file, inside fulfillment spring.xml file only, I need to import the process spring.xml file, point B, right? So these are the four steps, or these are the four configurations we need to do if I need to write files, or I need to create a new business process from the very beginning, right? So now the question arises, how this order process.xml file is called. So this file is called basically from this class submit order event listener.java class. So this class basically is called during the order placement flow only. I will show you that as well, but you will see over here we are calling this class. You can see over here we are firstly defining fulfillment process, and over here we are creating the process business process service dot create process. Here we are giving the process code. I will show you this portion once I will debug this code, but my basic intention was how we are calling, or at what step we are calling this order process.xml file. This is called from here, right? And this class will be called during the order placement flow, right? So this is the basic thing here. What we are doing here, we are firstly extracting the fulfillment process definition name, and through fulfillment process definition name we are creating a process code. We are just appending fulfillment process definition name with order code and the current time, system current time in milliseconds. Then we create a process code, right? And through that process code basically we are creating a process. And if you can see this fulfillment definition name, this is the same name, or this is the same definition name which is the name of this process.xml file, right? I will show you. So what I will do, I will quickly try to place an order, then I will show you that my code will come to this class, and then I will be creating a business process. So what I will do, I will be firstly quickly opening the uh, training storefront. So I'm opening the training storefront, then I will be trying to place an order. So just remember, I have started my server in the debug mode. If you don't know how to start the server in the debug mode, you can check the video given in the description box as well as in the top right corner of this video. But I have already started this server in debug mode, and I have already activated some debug points in this class submit order event listener. So now basically I'm going to show you placing an order, and then I will show you how this fulfillment process, how this order process, this fulfillment process is called. I will show you. So I am going to place an order. I am going to add the item to the cart. So I have clicked on the add to bag button, and the item will be added to the cart. So you can see now the item have been added to my cart, and now I will be clicking on the checkout button, and again this will take some time. So now I am clicking on the checkout button. You can see over here we can have option to add a coupon or anything. Now I am landing on the checkout page, so it is asking me whether I am a returning customer or I want to register as a new customer. So so now I am on the checkout page, and if I have to select my country, I will be just randomly selecting the country as UK, and once I select the country, I will be just going to the next button. So now I will be just filling the details, like I will be adding details like Hybris test. I will be just randomly filling all these details in this section because there are not as the strict validations, so that is why I am just filling all these details. I will click on the next button. So once I click on the next button, it will be showing me the shipment way, like standard delivery or a premium delivery. So I will leave this as it is and will click on the next button. Now I have clicked on the next button. So it is basically giving me now the section of payment. So I will be randomly selecting a card which can be say MasterCard. I will be giving the name as Amandeep, and then card number. Card number should be a 16 digit card number, so I will be entering 16 times 4. So I will be selecting the expiry date, card verification, any random number, and then I will be using this, and I will click on the next button. Then it will take me on the preview page. So you can see now I am on the order summary page, and I just have to click on the place order button to place the order. So what I will do, I will open the inspect mode, and when I will click on the place order button, you will see over here we will be firing a call to the backend. So I will be simply clicking on the place order button, and you can see once I click the place order button, it has landed on the summary checkup controller, and you can see from the front end we have fired a call which is place order call, and this is the API, place order API. Over here we have landed. So firstly it is validating some form. So my intention is how we are calling the API return over here. So I will be basically showing you how we have reach to this class. So I will be just showing you. So this is the place order API. So now I am in the get checkout facade dot place order, and this will be basically calling a place order method written in the facade class. So now I will be basically going to the facade class. So now inside the facade class we have multiple things like before place order, uh, and then after place order we do have these two main APIs. So I will again click over here. So you can see now I am in the default accelerator checkout facade class. So basically it will be again checking multiple things, and based on those it will be then calling a service class, and inside a place order API. Now I'm calling the order service dot create order from cart. And now you can see I am in the same class, submit order event listener dot java class, and you can see over here only I have written this logic, right? So this is the logic to create a new fulfillment process. You can see now I have reached to the, I mean, this class. So this is the way this business process will be, I mean, this order process .xml file will be called, and then the corresponding actions or the corresponding nodes written in this process.xml file will be called, right? So I will be just slowly clicking on this next icon. So I will be basically decreasing the width, right? So it is basically checking if store is null, then it will be printing this. But now I will be showing you the this fulfillment process name. So you can see the fulfillment process name is the same order process. So this is the same name order process.xml, I mean the same name of the file order process. So fulfillment process definition name is this. Then we will be going over here. You can see now it is appending the fulfillment process definition name with order number and current time, right? So you can see the process code is something like this. So order number is, you can see 4 times 0 2002. So the process code is this. Now at this step we will be basically creating a new business process. So what we will do, firstly I will try to search this business process before this step into Hybris. So I will go to back office, and over here we are already inside the business process section, and I will just try to search this process, right? So we will, what we will do, we will try to search with this way. So I will click on the search, and you will see we don't have any results till now. If I search in contains, you will see again we don't have any results. But once I execute this step, create process step, the business process should have been created. So I will be executing this step, and now you should see that a process should have been created over here. Let us see. Yes, the process has been created now, and you will see this is the process, right? So I mean, in the next step what we are going to do, we are setting order inside this process. So this order should be declared over here. You can see now it will be setting the order over here, and this is the process code. And whatever the actions defined inside this process, these all actions or these all nodes, right? The, like we had multiple actions, the check order action or all these actions, right? So these all are are displayed over here in the target steps. We do have all these actions, but once this business process will run automatically, it will automatically first pick the first node or first action as a check order action, as I showed you, because over here we have given the first action should be check order, that is why. So I will just now proceed, and you will see now it has saved the process, and once it has saved the process, you will see over here order should have been tagged. Let us see. Yes, you can see now the order has been tagged, and now the business process has also been started, because this is the thing written to start the process. Once I call this method to dot start process, it will be basically start executing all the nodes written inside this business process, right? So like the first node should be check order, we'll just exit from over here, and you will see over here we have landed to the order confirmation page, and over here you can see now the automatically actions have started running. So you can see the first action is say check order action, right? So then the next action is check authorization pay order payment. How these actions are running? So these are running because we have defined the mapping like this only. If check order action should be the first, if it returns okay, then the next section should be check authorized order payment, and if it returns okay, then next action should be the reserve amount. So let us see if what is the next action. You can see then reserve amount, all these things run automatically, right? So this is the way how the fulfillment process works. So I will show you one more thing, like I will just pick one action. So I have already added the debug point in split order action.java. So you will see now it should be on the split order action, right? So the next action will be split order action, and over here only I had added the debug points, and you can see these all are the logics written inside this split order action, right? Why I am showing you this action, because if you carefully see this action, split order action, right? So split order action is basically returning us to or redirecting us to wait for warehouse sub process end, right? So once I receive this this consignment sub process, and once I receive this trigger, it will be automatically proceeding to is proceed completed. So what is it is doing? The split order action will be basically firstly creating the consignment. If I show you over here with this code 402, you will see currently we do have only two results. One is the order process, second is the order confirmation email. So once this split order action is run, so basically what this action will be doing, this split order action, it will be basically creating a new process, new consignment process. So this is a way to create the consignment process, in the order fulfillment process as well. Over here we use the dot create process method. So similarly to create a new process, consignment process, again we are using consignment process method, dot create process method, and over here we are using the same process dot get code, all these things. So once this step will be executed, a new consignment process should have been started over here, and we will be able to see there will be a third new process over here. So I will just click over here. So you can see now debug has reached to this point. Let us add a debug point over here as well. I will be just going to the next. So you will see this action has now run, and if I just try to search this, you will see now a new consignment process has been created. So basically this split action creates a new consignment process, and what basically this consignment process does, it basically consumes all the status which we receive from the warehouse, like C status, P status or S status, and accordingly it updates the order status and consignment status. Don't worry about these order status and consignment status, we will be creating a separate video, but for now just think from the order process only. Through this order process and through the split action we create a new consignment process, right? So you can see this is the split order action. This has created a new consignment process. This is the, I mean, the thing consignment process, right? So what this consignment process does, this basically consumes the status which we receive from the warehouse, right? And inside this you will see uh, this in the order process.xml. This once this split order action is executed, it has redirected to me wait node, right? So this is the wait node, and what this wait node is doing, it is basically waiting for this process dot code and then underscore consignment sub process end. So basically this is waiting for a event. So this is how these events work, what it is doing. Now you must be aware this action split order action generated a consignment process, right? So consignment process is basically consuming the CP and the S status. After this, inside the consignment process only, inside this flow only, we will be triggering a event, right? I will be showing you how we can trigger an event, and once that event or event with name this consignment sub process, and once that event is triggered, it will be then taking me to is process completed. But till the time this event is not generated, it will remain stuck over this point only. If I can show you in the debug, I am already in the consignment flow, and you can see I am already in I am now in sub process end action.java. How this class was called, this class is automatically called inside this consignment fulfillment process. This is also a complete process. Over here also we have multiple actions defined, right? These all are the actions defined, right? So inside these actions only, you can see we have one action. I will show you. This action sub process end action, when this action runs, basically this action triggers the event which we are waiting for. I mean this event, wait for sub process event. You can see this consignment sub process end event, and once this event runs, or once this action runs sub process end, basically this class is called sub process end action.java. There will be a separate process.xml for the consignment as well. So if I can just show you, the process file should be like this, consignment process.xml. Here also we have defined multiple nodes. You can see these are the multiple nodes, and this is the action which I am talking about, and this is basically referring to this bean subprocess action.java, and this is the same bean subprocess end.java. Here you can see we are triggering this event consignment subprocess end event, right? So once this event is triggered, this wait will be over, this wait will be over, and we will go to the next action. So you can see still it will remain stuck at this point only. If I show you the fulfillment process of our order, I'm going back to the fulfillment process of our order. You will see, and I will refresh this as well. You can see still it is stuck over this point only. But once this event will be consumed, this event will be consumed, this process will go to the next step, right? So now I will be basically triggering this event, and you will see now this event has been triggered, right? So this event has been now triggered, and once this event has been triggered, now we will see the fulfillment process. It should go to the next step in few minutes, and the next step should be uh, this one, is process completed, right? So this is the next node, this is the reference bean. So you will see now the sub process complete action. I will just skip this portion, and once I skip this portion and I refresh this, you will see now it has proceeded to the next step, right? Now this wait event has been finished, or wait node has been executed, and the next action has been executed. So this is how a business process works. We do have multiple nodes, and we can have a node of type action or a node of type wait. And how this wait node works, I have shown you. Like in this case, it was basically waiting for an event, right? And once that event we received from the consignment process, we created a separate consignment process.xml file, or we created a separate business process for the consignment. Inside this section, split order, and once that consignment process triggered the event, we proceeded to the next step, right? So this is how a complete fulfillment process works, and I have shown you example of order fulfillment process. So I hope now you understand how this complete business process mechanism works, right? You should be aware like which all files we need to configure to in order to make this process work. There should be one more concept of task engine. So you will see or so you must have noticed, right? Like our the first action was check order action, and over here we have given the transition steps. If it returns status okay, then we will go to this check authorize order payment, right? We will go to this node. So basically, who helps in the movement from one node to another? So this is basically the task engine which is running behind or in the background, which is basically helps in transition from one node to another. So I think now you should have an idea what the task engine does. It basically helps in controlling the complete business process. It helps in transition from one node to another, and to perform a particular action like this wait event. All these steps are basically operated by the task engine in the background, right? So whenever this business process creates, like these are the three business process creates: order process, right? Then we do have an email process as well. So all these business processes are we save in the order process, in the business process table. I will show you the business process. You can see if I click on the execute button, let me refresh this. You will see all are the business process created over here. So this basically table, this table stores the data of all the business process, right? So this is how the business process works. I think you should have a clear idea. We do have similarly task table as well, where all the task activities are stored. Like if I move from one node to another, all these things are saved in the task table. You will see we do have multiple tasks or multiple node activities over here, right? So this is all about the business process. There is one more thing. If I show you this like I have a logic written inside any particular node or inside any particular action, like check order action, right? And in the production system you encounter multiple scenarios. Like what this check order action basically does, it basically does the first level of sanity, like everything is there or not, address is there or not, or the order number is there or not. If order number or address is not there, then basically this goes into the error state. Instead of this success state, we will be landing to the error state, and over here we will get an error occurred, something like this. So this is the same message which we define in the success state. Like over here in the succeed, we define a message order placed, right? So that is why this message has appeared, order placed. If an error would have come, then this message would be there, like all went wrong. If the state was a failed, then this message would have been appeared, order not placed over here, right? uh, so it means the process can be so it means the process can go into error state if there is some parameter missing, like in the check order action. If we don't have address, then it will go to error state. So in production we encounter such so in production, we encounter such situations very frequently. At that time, what we do in the backend, we do some changes, like if the address is not there in this order, then we enter the address from the backend, and then we need to repair this action. So how we can repair a business process? So this is the button. I just need to click over here, and then I need to just run the action or run the node which I want to run. So if I just like select check order and again start it, you will see the action will start running this. If I just refresh this, you will see this check order action will start running again in some time. So it has again come to this check order action. I will just skip these points. So I'm just disabling this, and I will just do this, and now I will refresh. You will see now the check order action has started, re-triggered. So this is how you can re-trigger an action, right? Or you can retry a action, right? So this is all about the business process. So our now next step is I will be creating a new business process, because this is already a created business process. I have just shown you an example of a process, order process, which is already created, right? I told this order process.xml or this business process was called from this class submit order event listener on in this step, right? But now I will be creating a new business process or a new custom process where I will be calling some custom action, right? So that you will be end to end aware how a new business process is written, right? So in the similar way, like we do have order process.xml. Firstly, I will be creating my new XML class. I will just switch to the Java perspective, and I will be creating a similar order process.xml class. I will just copying it and will rename it to Hybris tube custom. So this is the process.xml class I am creating, right? So I have created this, and this is the class I have created, right? So over here basically what I will be doing, I will not be using all these actions. I will just retain only two actions like this. In this way, and I will give as Hybris tube action 1, and the bean name is same, Hybris tube action 1. Of course I will be defining this bean in corresponding process spring.xml, right? If it returns okay, then I will go to Hybris tube action 2, and if it doesn't return anything, it will go to error state. Over here I am defining a new action, Hybris tube action 2. My intention is if you are creating a new business process from the scratch, then you can follow the same steps. That is why I am showing you all this thing. So firstly we will be starting with creation of only two actions. Then I will show you how these actions are running. After that I will show you by adding some more components, some more nodes like wait node, notify node, all these nodes I will be adding subsequently, right? So basically what this action 2 will be doing, it will be just returning the one status okay, and if returns okay we will proceed to our success step. So I will be keeping this thing very simple, and this is the process code. And this is the process code, like order process model. Like in our example we saw, this is order process model. We will just keep this as it is, otherwise you can use any other process model, like you can use the other process models as well. We do have uh, consignment process model. We do have multiple type of process models, but for now I will be just using this order process model because this thing is just for the demo purpose, right? So now I have written the process.xml files, so I will be basically now defining these beans into process spring.xml file, right? So like corresponding order process.xml, we had a process spring.xml file, like we had order process spring.xml file. So in the similar way we will be creating our new process or new file. So I will be just copying this, and I will just create a new file, and its name should be Hybris tube process spring.xml, right? So this is the name I am giving. So this is Hybris tube process spring.xml. Now I have created this. Over here what I have to do, I have to define my actions which I have just created. Like this is my Hybris tube process.xml file. Here I have defined this action, Hybris tube action 1. So I will be basically doing the same thing. I will be defining this action, and abstract is true, parent is abstract action. You should know every action class basically extends this class. If I need to inject any property, then I can add that as well. If I don't need to inject any property, then I can skip this portion as well. But for now I will just leave it as it is. And see, in the similar way I will be I mean uh, I will be defining the second bean, Hybris tube action 2, right? So this is the way. And then what I will do, I will be deleting all these beans. I should not keep this as a duplicate, so I will be deleting all these things. Over here I have deleted, right? Over here I have just defined two beans. So I will be basically creating the new action class, like we have a check order action class. In the similar way I will be creating my action classes, Hybris tube action 1 and Hybris tube action 2. So I will be just copying this, and I will be basically creating my action class, Hybris tube action 1, right? So I have created now Hybris tube action 1. If I just open this, I have opened this, and you can see it is basically extending abstract simple decision action. It is nothing but it is I mean also out of box class, which is basically extending the abstract action class. So either you can extend directly abstract action class, or you can extend abstract simple decision action class, right? So this is the, I mean, service which I have injected. So I will just remove this, and this is the execution method which you by default have to override if you are extending this class. And I will just remove all these things, and I will be just returning the status as okay. So I will be just doing like this, and will remove all other part, right? So this is my, I mean, simple class I have created. I will be just adding some log inside Hybris tube action 1 class. After that we will be going to action 2 class, right? Because we have because we are returning the status okay here, and we have mapped in our process.xml. If it returns the status okay, we will move to Hybris tube action 2 I mean action 2b. Okay, so we will be just removing this thing. Right, so in this way I have defined my Hybris tube action 1, and I will give the same mapping to our process spring.xml class, right? So this was the class process.xml, and then we have process spring.xml. Over here I will give the class name as Hybris tube action 1, and similarly I will be creating Hybris tube action 2, so I will be giving the name as Hybris tube action 2, right? So I will be similarly creating a new class. I will just copying this, and then I will be creating a new class Hybris tube action 2, and I will just change the logging. Now after that we will be going to success state, right? And business process will be finished. I hope now you understand this. And now what we have to do, we have to map this Hybris tube process spring.xml and Hybris tube process.xml into fulfillment process spring.xml. This step we have to map this into fulfillment process spring.xml. We need to give the mapping of process.xml, and then we need to import the process spring.xml. So we will be performing these two steps. So we will go to training fulfillment process spring.xml. So it should be this one, right? Over here we have given the mapping. In the similar way we will be giving the mapping of our process.xml, right? So we will be just copying this and right here, and I will give this order process as Hybris tube process definition resource, right? So this is my process class Hybris tube process.xml, right? So I will be, this is the class process definition resource. All the, process class only defines this class only. You can see in each process.xml we have written the same class only. So the path should be Hybris tube, because we have created this class into the same path in training fulfillment process only. You can see the path is same, right? So I will be just saving this. So now I have performed these steps, right? I have written my process.xml class, which is basically this one, Hybris tube process.xml. Then I have written inside this I added two nodes, Hybris tube action 1 and Hybris tube action 2, and then I wrote process spring.xml file, which is basically this one, Hybris tube process spring.xml. Here I define the beans which I referred in this XML class, right? So this is the second step, and third one is the fulfillment process spring.xml. I need to give the mapping of process.xml. So this step also I have now performed, right? So you can see this step I have performed. Now the fourth thing is I need to import my Hybris tube process spring.xml. So I will just copy this and paste over here, and over here I will just change the name. So name is Hybris tube process spring.xml, right? So this is the same name, Hybris tube process spring.xml. So this is all the configuration I need to do. So what I have to do after this, so I will be basically bringing my server down. So I have brought my server down now. I have just pressed the Control C, and by this I can bring my server down. I will just do clear screen, right? So now after doing all these configurations, and now I have just created only two actions, right? Hybris 2 action 1 and action 2, right? What do you think, should I do and all or not? So the answer is I should do and all. The reason is we don't have any corresponding dot class file. If I can show you this action, check order action.java, you will see we do have Java class as well as class file, but we don't have any uh, class file generated over for these actions like Hybris tube action 1. We don't have any corresponding class file, and if the corresponding class file will not generate, and if we directly bring our server up, this will throw the error, right? So I will be firstly doing ant all, and once I do the ant all and I refresh this training fulfillment process extension, corresponding dot class should have been generated corresponding to these actions. So let us wait for this ant all to complete. It will take some time. So guys, now you can see the ant all command has been finished successfully, and let us try to see if we have a dot class file or not. If I just try to search Hybris tube action 1, we still don't have any corresponding dot class files. So what I will be doing, I will be just refreshing the training fulfillment process extension. So I will just refresh this extension, training fulfillment process extension. I will just click over here, and then we'll do right click, and then I will do refresh. So once the refresh is done, after that I will again try to search Hybris tube action. You can see now we have corresponding class files as well, right? So this is why we need ant all before we bring the server up. So now what I will do, I will bring my server up, and before bringing my server up, I need to choose a point where I can call my process file, right? So this is my file hybris process.xml. So I need to choose a point from where I can call this hybris process.xml file, either like this order process.xml file. This process or this business process was called from this point submit process. Over here we call the create process method, right? So we need to choose some point or need to choose some Java class or some flow from where we can call this process as well. So what I will be doing, my intention is I will be calling this hybris process from the login page. So when once we do the registration, once we click on the register button, at that time we will be basically calling this hybris process.xml, right? So I will be directly going to login page controller. So that is basically a backend controller class when we click on the register button. So this is basically the register API. It means once you click on the register button, this API is basically called. So what I will do, I will be basically calling my this business process at this point only, just for the demo purpose. So I will be how I will be calling. Firstly, I will be writing a method to call this process.xml file, and then then I will be calling that method at this point. So how can I write that method? I will be just simply pasting that method over here, and the method will be this create hybris test business process. This is the method which I have newly created. Here I am giving the definition name. It is hybris process, and it is same name which is the name of my file as well. As you can see in the end, my file name is also the same, hybris process. So this is the same name I have given. And with that name I am appending just some more things, like I will be basically picking the email ID. So I will be basically appending the email ID and the current time in the millisecond. So I will be appending that, and then I will be creating a new process, right? So I will be passing the process code and fulfillment process definition name. And once I will execute these steps, and then I will write this. I have written this dot start process. So once I execute this line, it will be basically starting the or executing the nodes which are written in this hybris process.xml. Like over here we have written two nodes, so these two nodes will be executed, right? So I will go back to login page controller. So this is how you can create a new business process. And once the business process will be created, like over here we saw name was order process, then order number. So our name of the business process should be something like this, hybris process, and then email ID and then time, right? So it should be like hybris process and then email ID and then time. So now what I will do, I will quickly bring my server up in debug mode, right? So this is the command to bring your server up, hybris server dot bat and then debug. It will take some time, and till then whatever we will do, we will add some debug points in our action class, so that I can show you, like now this has come into this action, right? So I have added two debug points over here in action 1 and action 2 class both, and I will add a debug point. I have missed one thing, right? So what I will do, I will bring my server down again. I have missed one point. I have not called this API, so I will be basically calling this API here, right? So I am calling here, it should be form. So whenever the customer click on the register button, so basically over here the new business process will be created. So since I have changed in the this Java class, so there should be a corresponding change in dot class file as well. So that is why I will do int all again. So it will take some time. Let us wait for the int all to get finished. So now the build is successful. Int all command is finished. So I will be bringing the server up in the debug mode, and once the server is up in the debug mode, then we will show, like during the registration process, how this this API will be called, and how we will be creating a new business process, and the name will be starting with the Hybris tube process. So we will be adding some debug points over here, and these all are the debug points, right? So after this I will be enabling the debug points as well. So I will just enable all the breakpoints, right? So let's wait for the server to come up, and then we will see how this goes on. So you can see now my server is up, and let me try to open the storefront. So I'm opening the training storefront. It will take some time. And meanwhile, what I will do, I will just enable my debug mode. I will click on debug as, and then debug configurations. We have already shown you how to start the server in debug mode and what all configurations you need to do. You can check the video in the description box as well as in the right top corner in this video. So I'm just clicking on the debug. It will take some time to launch the application in debug mode. You can see now the registration page is opened. I will just simply fill this form. So I have filled this form, and when I will click on the registration button, this should come at this point. So I will be directly clicking on the registration button, and when I click on the registration button, you can see the debug has stopped at this point. Create Hybris tube test business process, and inside the form we have all the details, whatever the, like first name and last name, all these things are here. Like my email is hybristube@gmail.com. So if I move forward, you will see now it has landed on this. So my fulfillment definition name is this Hybris tube process, right? So now I will be creating the process code, and the process code value is this Hybris tube process, and then we have appended the email ID and the time. So you can see now the process code value is this Hybris tube process test Hybris bp@gmail.com, and as you know, fulfillment process definition name is Hybris tube process, and this value should be the same which we defined during the creation of our process.xml. Like if I can show you this file or this XML file, right? This is the name we have given Hybris tube process. If this name and whatever the name we have given over here, right, like this name, if these two names doesn't match, then this will not be called Hybris tube process. This business process file will not be called and system will throw error. So make sure that Hybris tube process or this business process fulfillment process definition name should exactly match with the with this name, right? So this is one concept, and second one is the start action. Here we define which action should run first. So like over here I have mentioned, firstly this Hybris tube action 1 should run, right? That is why I have given this start action 1. If I am giving a name or the name of action which actually doesn't exist in this file, then again this will throw error. So over here we need to give the right action name, right? So these are the things. And like in this Hybris tube action 1, in this node we have two transitions. Either it can return okay or it can return not okay, right? So when I have given two transitions over here, then I need to give the same transitions in my action files as well. Like you can see over here, I have just added a simple condition. I just made a boolean flag with true. So if the flag value is true, then it should return okay, and if it is false, then it should return not okay. But if I just skip this portion, then also the system will throw error. So these things we need to take care of. And similarly in Hybris tube action 2 as well, I have added the same conditions. So these are the things which you should take care. So now I am on this create business process, so I will move forward, and you will see now that process has been created and we have got the required business process model object. And let us see whether we have a existing process or a new process has been created with this name Hybris tube process or not. I will just copy this and we'll go to back office and in the business process section. So I will just make a blank search first, and you will see that a new business process has been created and the name is same Hybris tube process, right? So this was the name Hybris tube process. Then we added this thing where we added the email ID, right? And this is the email ID appending test hybristubebp@gmail.com, and then this is the time. So this is how a BP code is generated. If I just open this, and its current state is created. So once the actions will run, so automatically this will go into the success state, right? You can see currently it is created and most of the fields are blank over here. You can see I mean whatever the values, like if you want to set some order with this business process, you can do or set that order as well. You can write something like this business process model dot set order, and you can add order. But for now I just wanted to show you a simple demo how the business process is created and how it works. And you can see now this has been created, but you will see there are no current actions running over here, right? Because these things will start running only after I execute this line, right? Only after this the actions will run. But it has picked up the schema whichever we have defined in process.xml file, right? These are the two actions, and if I can show you, you will see if I click on over here, you will see we will have both actions defined here. You can see we do have Hybris tube action 1 and action 2 defined here. So it means it has picked up the schema which we defined in process.xml file. So I will just move forward and let me check if I have debug point at action 1 or not. I will mark a debug point over here and over here as well, right? And in the similar way in the action 2 as well, I will mark another debug point. So I will just move forward, and once I move forward, you will see it will automatically go into the Hybris tube action 1 class, right? So you can see it has automatically moved to action 1. Why it has moved to a Hybris tube action 1 class? Because once this process.xml file is executed, it has given like the firstly this action 1 file should run, so that is why it has automatically come over this action 1 file, and it will just return the OK status. And once the status is OK as defined over here, if the status is OK, then automatically it will run the action 2, right? So I will just move forward, and before that I will just refresh this and will show you the status. You can see now the status is running, and we have a process task, and inside the process task, if I can open this, you will see currently we are running the Hybris tube action 1. So in the process task you can see which action or which task is currently running, right? So I will move forward, and once I move forward, at this point you will see I will go, it will return OK status, then it should automatically go to action 2 file. So I am moving forward, now it should come in this file. You can see now it has automatically come to action 2 file. I will execute this, and once I execute this, you will see now if I refresh this, and we will see now in the process task action 2 should be running. So it means now the action 2 is running. Okay, so this is how you can check which task is running. You can see now action 1 has already run, now the second action is running, and once I complete this as well, so now I have completed both tasks, so it will, I mean state will change from running to finish success, and this message will start appearing, order placed. And where this message is defined, this message is defined in my process.xml file over here, right? Because we move to success over here, I have mentioned if it returns OK, then it should move to success. So in the success we have given the message as order placed. If it had moved to fail, then this order not placed message would have been printed, right? So this is how we can create a new business process. We can create all these files. I have given you the overview of all the files which you need to create. You need to create a process.xml file where you need to define multiple nodes, then spring.xml file where you need to define all the action beans. Then in the fulfillment process spring.xml, you need to give the mapping of process.xml file, right? We gave the mappings of process.xml file, and in the same file you need to import this process spring.xml file. I have already shown you the steps in this video. So guys, this is all about the business process, how the business process are much beneficial over the cron job. I think all concepts should be clear to you, and in case you still have any doubts, you can ask your queries in the comment section of this video. Similarly, we can use other elements as well in our process.xml file. Like we can use the wait node in our process.xml file. I have already shown you the example of how to use the wait node in our order process.xml file. Similarly, we can use other nodes as well. How we can use them, like we can have a timeout. We can write over here. We can write a timeout tag as well over here. Like I can define in how much time this should get timed out. So like we can define a timeout element like this, timeout, and then delay. Over here we can define how much time you should give the delay, and after this time is completed, then it should redirect us to the timeout, right? So we need to define something like this. Okay, so this is how you can use the timeout tag. Similarly, we can use a split element as well. So split is basically like over here I have given, right, I mean this, when this action runs, it if it returns okay, then it basically navigates to this send order expiration time, this action, right? But if I want to run two actions at a time, over here we can run only one action at a time. But if I want to run two actions or two tasks at a time, then we can use a split tag. It will be something like this: split id is equal to, say, split, right? And then I will, over here I will use the target node name is equal to whatever the bean name I want to, I mean whatever the bean or action name I want to run. I can give its name as action1, and similarly I can give the name of second action or second bean which I want to run in parallel. So this is how I can do that. Say action2. So if I define like this, then these both actions will over here I give the mapping this. So if I get, then is this, like over here if I call this, then this node will run, and it will basically running the logic written in these two actions. So this is how you can use the split tag. Similarly, you can use the notify tag as well, and uh, these are the basic elements of process.xml. I have covered most of the elements. These are the only elements which we use in our process.xml file. So guys, this is all about the business process, how a business process works in Hybris system, how these are more beneficial than cron job. So finally, we are good to write the definition of a business process. So basically, what is business process? So a business process describes a sequence of events, right? Inside a business process, we define multiple nodes or actions, steps or activities that is followed repeatedly. That is followed repeatedly. Okay, so this is the definition of a business process. And why it is beneficial over a cron job? Because cron job is a heavy mechanism, but business process is based on task engine, right? I told you each action or each node, we navigate from one node to another node through task engine. It is the task engine which is basically helping in the background. So that work is based on task engine, right? Task engine has basic framework to support predefined list of tasks through XML. Like our XML was process.xml file. I think now you should be grabbing all the concepts which I am writing over here, right? So this is a business process. So there is one more concept, like this is my local setup, and here we have only one node. We don't have multiple nodes, but inside the production system, if you are working in some project or you are working on a production system, you must be aware that we have multiple nodes. If you are working on on-prem solution, or we can have multiple pods if you are working on some cloud solution. So there can be multiple ports, right? For like for running the uh, cockpits we do have admin nodes, but for running the website, the storefront, we do have ECM nodes. But we want these business process should run only on the admin nodes or admin ports. How we can do that? So to do that, we need to add a property in local.property file in all the admin nodes. Wherever we need to run this business process, we need to add a property, and the property is load task dot engine dot load on startup is equal to true. So this property should be added in local.property files of all the pods where you want to run this business process, right? So if you want to run this business process on all admin nodes, so you need to add this property in the local.property file of all those admin nodes. But if you don't want to run this business process on a specific pod, or like on the e-commerce pod, then what you have to do, you have to give this value as a false on all those pods where you don't want this business process to run, right? So guys, this is all about the business process, right? How we can retry a business process. Like now you can see both actions have run, right? But if there is some error in this Hybris tube action one action, I can re-trigger this action as well. I do have this flexibility. I can rerun this action. So this is how you can repair a business process, right? And how you can start a business process, I have told you. You can start the business process in this way, right? And what all configurations you need to do to create a business process, that also I have told you. You need to do all these four configurations in these files, right? So this is all about creating a order fulfillment process or a business process in Hybris. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, do share this with your friends. Thank you for watching. Bye.